it's Missy and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys 10 things I wish I knew before I started sixth form. Because over the last year, I feel like I've learnt a lot of things that will help people who are just coming into year 12. And I feel like there's some tips and advice that would definitely make like the whole process of transitioning smoother. Or people who just want like more advice on how to get better in year 13, if that makes sense. And yeah, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, follow me on all my social medias, and let's get into the video. Okay, so on my laptop I have like a whole list of things that I want to talk about. Hopefully I can explain them properly because it may be a bit hard to like express some of these. But I'm gonna give you guys 10 stuff and like 10 stuff I wish I knew, and it kind of is advice as well. The first thing that I wish I knew before I started year 12, you need to get organized right from the beginning, or it will take you months to get back on track and you have to spend a lot of time getting organized in the future. Basically what this means is that like as soon as your first lesson, just start filing in your notes. Every lesson, filing your notes, because when you miss one lesson and you don't like file it in or you don't go back and study, it takes so much time to get back on track. I missed a lesson because I wasn't in school, and for the next week, I'm not even lying, I was so confused in class. Everything wasn't making sense, and I had to go back home and organize everything and read through it, and then I could finally get on track. Without doing that, I don't know how I would have like gotten through the rest of the term. But you need to make sure that you're organized and you're on top of what you're learning, because it can go by so quickly that missing something just messes up everything. So make sure you're really organized, and make sure your folders are on top, because teachers might want to do like folder checks randomly throughout the school year. So you need to make sure that you're doing it. So you're not like me. I've had to like stay up till 3 AM organizing my folder because I didn't do it in time. So just to prevent that, just make sure that you're organized and you're filing in your folders regularly. You don't even have to do it every day. Maybe at the end of every week you could do that, but just make sure that you're keeping on top of your organization. The second thing that I wish I knew before I started A-levels was that getting 7s, 8s and 9s in GCSEs literally doesn't mean anything. Honestly, like this kind of applies to me because I picked 2 subjects that I didn't do in GCSE, but like obviously my grades made me feel like, okay, I got 7s, 8s and 9s, I'm gonna ace A-levels. Like obviously I'm not doing bad, but I'm just saying that you still need to work hard. People that got like 7s, 8s and 9s in GCSEs could come into A-levels and literally get C's and B's. That's something that's really like hard to grasp, because I got an 8 in my biology, and then in some of my bio like exams and tests we've had, I've gotten like a C and a B, and I'm like, why is it not like correlating? Like I did so well before, why is it so hard? So you have to understand that your grades in GCSEs are completely different from your grades in A-level, and you need to put like extra amount of work in A-level to actually achieve the high grades that you want. The third kind of advice or thing I wish I knew before I started year 12 is that of course you need to use your free periods wisely. You can rest and like do other stuff with them, but when there's work due, it's good to do your homework right then and there, so you can get home and rest, so you can get home and study ahead, or like catch up on work that you haven't done. So you like separate your free periods and like know that if I have work to do during my free period, I'm actually gonna do it. But if I don't really have work to do, I can actually chill during my free periods. Like just don't take them for granted. If you have work to do it then. If you don't, like it's a good time for you to take a break during the week in school when there's so much going on in the classes you're going to be taking. So just make sure you use them wisely. There'll be time for you to play in your free periods, and there'll also be times that you need to work and you need to get ahead and you need to catch up on work that you've missed. The fourth thing that I wish I knew before I started year 12 was that past papers for like end of year exams are gold. Literally, in fact, not even end of year, and like any exams you do in year 12, past papers are gold. I don't really like using past papers myself. Like, I don't know, it's just not a thing I enjoy doing, and I find it just really like boring for me to do a past paper. It's just like a weird thing with me. I will do them if they're necessary, and I found that I need to actually start getting on it, because the past papers that I did last year for my end of year 12 exams helped me so much. I was so happy with my grades, and I feel like I owe it to the past papers, because I don't think I would have gone that high, or I don't think I would have done that well if I didn't at least look over 2 or 3 past papers before I went into the exam. So I would definitely recommend doing that. So although past papers are really good, personally for me, I feel like you can still do really well without them. So if you're like me and you don't really like using past papers and it's just not your thing, because that's how I feel, you can still do well. You just need to make sure that you're prioritizing the study, because past papers give you the technique, but you can also do like other questions that are not past papers, which will also like teach you the technique and everything. And there's other ways to go about like revision. Like you could like study the textbook, which is what I like to do. It's kind of weird, but I like to study textbook. I like to make notes sometimes. Notes take a lot of my time, so I don't do them all the time. But when I feel like they're necessary and I need to actually write it down, I will take notes. But there are other ways that you can actually do well without using past papers. But I would definitely still recommend past papers. It's kind of contradictory, but it's just like, that's just what it is. The next advice or tip that I can give you is that you need to have a separate revision method for each subject. So you need to make sure you know the best type of revision that works for each subject, because making flashcards for a particular subject is not going to work for another subject. So you can't just use one method of revision and one method of study for all of them, unless that's what works for each one, if that makes sense. Like, I can't make flashcards for bio. There's too much content for me to make flashcards on them. So I would rather like read through the textbook and answer questions. But for a subject like business, I can make flashcards for that because the content isn't that heavy. So you need to know like what kind of revision your subjects require so you can know how to effectively revise for them. I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense of this video, because I feel like I'm just talking and like it's not making sense. But have a separate revision method for each subject. Another thing is that I feel like everyone has already said this, but have a separate folder for everything. I don't know why you wouldn't. I feel like that's even a requirement in your school. It was a requirement in my school to have separate folders for everything, and that's just like common knowledge. But then also have a day folder that you take with you every day, or like a file where you put every loose sheet that you've gotten for that day, and then you can go home every day and then file it into your bigger one, or at the end of the week you can file all of that in. But make sure that you are keeping track of your folders and your sheets, because you will get a lot of like loose sheets and like packs and like worksheets and stuff like that, and all of those will need to be accounted for if like your teacher ever does like a folder check. This one, I was kind of shocked. It was kind of a scary like jump and move for me to actually like wrap my head around. But uni talk starts so early. You need to think about uni and everything about uni long before year 13 starts. They start talking about uni like your first 2 months of being in year 12. And like it just hits you because you were in year 11 last year. All that was on your mind was GCSEs, and now you're in year 12 and they're talking about uni, they're talking about accommodation, they're talking about how you're gonna feed, and like everything about uni and like grade requirements. Like it's so much all at once that you need to just start thinking about it now before they start mentioning it. Like you need to know what unis you're gonna pick, you need to know why you're picking those unis, you need to know the best, like the grades you need to get into those unis. It's all a lot and it hits you so hard, and it's kind of scary. It's such a big jump from GCSEs that it's kind of like, oh my god, like can we actually calm down? So I feel like you need to keep that in mind, that they're gonna start talking to you about uni so soon, and you just need to get prepared to start thinking about what you're gonna do for the next like 5 years after year 13. Okay, so this one is kind of like a tip and advice, and I feel like I did this well. This wasn't hard for me, but I feel like some people, it may be kind of a thing that they don't really want to do. But you need to get involved in everything. If there's like a leadership talk and your school's like asking who wants to go for a leadership talk, go for it. If there's like school activities, assemblies and all of that, definitely do it. Get involved in all the activities in school, because number one, it will help you in your personal statement because you can find stuff to write and like you have a lot of stuff that you can put it in it. But it will also help in your teacher references, because your teachers are going to have to write a reference for you when you're going to uni. They're going to send it to the uni. So when you do this kind of things, they will have a lot to go off of, and they will definitely like say good things and like proper good, not just like common good things, but when they see that you're doing that stuff, they'll have like specific good things to talk about when they're writing the reference for you. So definitely get involved in everything in school. Make sure you have a lot of things you're doing so you're like recognized by your teachers and that kind of thing. And finally, personal statements start in year 12. You need to start writing your personal statement in year 12. I don't know if all schools do this, like if all sixth forms do this, but my sixth form made me start writing it in like May, and like it was the first draft was due in July. So you need to start, like I feel like this has helped me like have a foundation. Like I might completely change it, but the fact that I have like a structure already is making me less calm, and I'm not as like worried, because I don't want to be that person who's still like not finished their personal statement in January when the thing is literally due in January. Even if your school doesn't make you do it in year 12, start thinking about it, start writing down things you want to add. One thing that I will say is that literally have notes on your phone or like in a book or anything. If you have an achievement, write it down. You don't have to write everything in your personal statement, but it's good to just have like a list of stuff that you've done, and then you can pick the ones that you feel are relevant to what you want to write in your personal statement. And that is literally a lifesaver. Literally just have a list of everything you've accomplished, everything you've done, assemblies you've gone to, stuff you've done to help people, badges you've gotten, like write it all down. And then when it's time for you to write your personal statement, you just go through the list and pick up stuff that you want to write. I feel like that's literally the best advice I can give you like regarding personal statements. Yeah guys, that is 10 things I wish I knew before I started year 12. But yeah, I hope this helped. I hope this gave you helped you understand what you need to do in year 12, and this kind of calmed you down so you're not as worried. And you feel more prepared. I hope that made you feel more prepared. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, follow me on all my social medias, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!